American couple getting ready to make our Christmas journey. Our first stop, 6 hours into the journey, the toll house or caseta de cobra.
154. Oh no, 89 por auto. Acabamos de comenzar el viaje por Baja California.
No. Fuimos en la viaje todo el día.
Ok, estuvimos en Mexicali como 3 horas porque había tanto tráfico y estamos pasando la caseta de cobro. Pagamos, ¿cuánto?
154.
No pagamos 154.
89.
Pagamos 89 pesos y son las 13:52 de la tarde y planeamos viajar hasta Loreto, ¿sí?
Hasta Loreto. 3 días en Loreto.
So here we are, leaving the toll house, starting our journey west of Mexicali, heading up the mountains towards Reynosa and Tecate. From there, we plan to take the Ruta de Vino, and then on to Ensenada, where we plan to spend the night. So now we start up the mountains towards Rumerosa. My wife told me that it snows almost every Christmas here. And leaving Algodones, where it was sunny and hot, I told her that she was crazy. There would be no snow, but climbing the mountains, you can see the skies are becoming gray. The winds were starting to pick up, and it started to spit a little bit of rain, and I found out that once again, I was probably going to be wrong. And as always, my wife, God bless her, is going to be right. Here we are, our first stop, the park in La Rumerosa. Here we plan to eat lunch, enjoy the wind and the cold.
Estamos en la Rumorosa, estamos en un parque, vamos a comer sándwich y hay mucho frío, hay mucho viento.
Tenemos Wonder Bread.
Y lo bueno de casarse con un gringo es que él prepara los sándwiches, aprendan. Muy tranquilo.
Leaving Rumerosa, get the final video of the sign. My new hobby, collect the signs.
¿Me amas? ¿Cuánto?
This much. I can't move my arms. I gotta try. Go Sanchez for some.
Vamos entrando a Ensenada.
As you may have guessed by now, we may not exactly be the typical all-American couple alleged at the beginning of the video. And maybe we'll have a little more on that later if we manage to get up any more videos after this one.
Es el puerto de Ensenada.
Here we are coming down the hill, getting close to the port of Ensenada, and we were here earlier this year. And the first time we were here, they had unloaded and stored many blades from the windmills that we'll see an example of later. We have a little discussion here of where are they and whose cruise ship is that in the background, but it's a beautiful. So here we are in the hotel, and obviously we know nothing about doing a video because we had no voice.
Encontramos este hotel y está limpio.
So here we are, we thought we'd give it a second shot. We described the room. Did not work at all, but we found this hotel for only $35 a night right downtown. Super simple, but very clean, very nice hotel staff. Dirt cheap, And in the center of everything, we could walk wherever we wanted to go, and we left it, went out and grabbed some dinner. And the next morning, the flood of Noah. Here we are leaving town, leaving Ensenada, going to drive over to SanFelipe, and we have a plan to arrive at SanFelipe in about 3 hours and make a decision. Do we turn right and go south to Loreto, or does the old man in this video, who turns out to be a little sick, decide to make the smart move, turn left, head back to home, and recuperate? We'll see what happens. Mountains are beautiful, lots of clouds, lots of rain. The clouds are just flying across the road. You can't see it in the video, but this wind's blowing pretty hard, and it's rained all night. When we left the hotel, our room was dry, but the hallways were flooded. Stairways were wet. Ensenada was forecast to get 3 more days of rain, so we decided to go back to the east, across the mountains where it was going to be dry, and then head south from there. This road turns out to be very foggy, and quite a bit of rocks in the road, many hazards. Some of the boulders were huge. Didn't manage to save any of those pictures, but it was one way a lot of the way due to the heavy rains all night long. A lot of scenery changes. We go from the coastal to the high mountains, very green, very lush. Later on we get into some high desert, and then back down to SanFelipe, where it's just pure desert and pure sand. Here we were having a little discussion about the quality of the tires on this car and the amount of rocks in the road. We only saw one other car going the same direction that we were going the entire trip, so didn't look like there was going to be a lot of help if we did have any problems along the way. Note here that the highways in Mexico, a lot of steep drop-offs, not a lot of guardrails. There's some. A lot of them bent over at about 45 degrees where they've been hit previously. And consequently, there were a whole lot of monuments to family members and folks who had passed in accidents along the way. Reminder to be careful. Keep your eyes open. We're about halfway to SanFelipe now. Just passed under the Ruta Divino sign, and the electrical windmills or generators that we were talking about earlier. There's a few here. There's a whole lot more up north. And down the mountains we come to the entrance to SanFelipe. Took this picture for fun. Definitely a different vibe. My wife's definitely a lot better looking than I am. And here we are on the beach with my sign. I gotta have my sign. I love the letters, SanFelipe. Obviously, we have no idea what we're doing. They're backwards. And I'm from Kentucky, just made it easier for me to read it. So, there you go.
Sí, muy diferente de antes. Soros atrás.
Nublado, lluvia.
Neblina.
Yep. Todo y ahora. Es como.
Primavera.
Yep. So after Ensenada, we made that left turn and headed back home, where we dined on a fine Christmas Eve dinner of sandwiches. Saw what our dog had been up to, put a 10 peso price tag on his nose. Went outside, checked out the house lights. Made a really nice Christmas dinner the next day. Took a few photos. And resolved that we would get this trip done about 6 months down the road. And there's our daughter who made the cheesecake. So to everyone who made it through this video, Merry Christmas.